Once upon a time, in the heart of the lush and peaceful kingdom of Ijeba, there was a small village called Kuru. This village was surrounded by thick forests, tall palm trees, and sparkling rivers. The people of Kuru were known for living in harmony with nature, and they followed strong traditions handed down by their ancestors. One tradition, in particular, was very important: the value of purity among the young girls. In Kuru, it was believed that all girls must remain untouched until marriage. The elders taught this in their stories, the mothers reminded their daughters every morning, and the fathers watched over their households with pride. Parents would often boast to each other, saying things like, "My daughter is pure. She will make our family proud." For them, a girl's purity was tied to her family's honor, and the entire village shared this belief. Every year, during the harvest season, the village would host festivals celebrating their customs. Songs were sung, dances were performed, and elders gave blessings to the young girls. These blessings were more than rituals. They were a sign that the girls were following the right path, keeping the sacred traditions alive. But one year, the peace of Kuru was disturbed. The plants began to wither. Crops turned brown, animals stopped producing, and sickness crept slowly through the village. The elders were confused. "We've done all the right things. We've prayed. We've honored our ancestors. Why are the gods punishing us?" In their desperation, they turned to the old oracle of the land, a respected man named Baba Agbaje, who lived near the forest shrine. Baba Agbaje listened in silence as the chiefs and elders explained the problems. He closed his eyes, held a sacred staff, and whispered a prayer to the spirits. Then, with a deep breath, he spoke. "The gods are angry," he said in a low, trembling voice. "Their most sacred law has been broken. The purity they asked you to protect has been lost." Gasps filled the air. "The curse will only be lifted if 2 untouched maidens carry a special sacrifice to the altar at the foot of the sacred mountain," Baba Agbaje continued. "Only true virgins can save Kuru." Hope sparked through the crowd. The chiefs stood tall. "All our daughters are pure," one man declared. "We will bring them all to the palace tomorrow." The news spread like wildfire. Parents prepared their daughters for the test, brushing their hair, dressing them in white wrappers, and reminding them, "Hold your head high. You are pure, and the gods will choose you." The morning sun rose bright over Kuru village as the families gathered at the grand palace courtyard. The air buzzed with excitement and nervous whispers. Today was the day of the virgin test, a sacred ritual held only once every generation, or in times of great crisis, like now. Baba Agbaje stood before the crowd holding a large clay pot. The pot was no ordinary vessel. It was blessed by the gods themselves. Inside it lay a sacred necklace, woven with threads of gold and blessed stones. Legend said that only a true virgin maiden could reach into the pot and pull out this necklace, the gods' way of revealing who was pure and worthy to carry the village's sacrifice. One by one, the girls stepped forward. Their hearts raced, as their families watched proudly. The first girl reached in, but her hand came out empty. The second girl tried, then the third. All failed. Murmurs started to grow. Families whispered anxiously, clutching each other's hands. The elders' faces darkened with worry. When it was the chief's daughter's turn, girls known for their beauty and proud posture, the crowd held its breath. One after the other, each dipped her hand in the pot, but none could grasp the necklace. The youngest daughter's hands trembled as she reached in, but she too pulled out nothing. Shock spread like wildfire. The village whispered in disbelief. "How can this be? Are our daughters not pure? Has the curse come because we have failed to protect our customs?" The elders exchanged worried glances, their hearts heavy with fear. The village's foundation, its sacred tradition of purity, was crumbling before their eyes. As the tension grew, fingers pointed in every direction. The crowd's anger and fear sought a target. It didn't take long before all eyes turned to Isime, a mysterious young woman from the city who had recently come to Kuru. Her bright clothes and confident manner had made her stand out, and the village's pure traditions feared to welcome such changes. Rumors spread quickly. "It's Isime's fault," muttered an elder woman. "She's brought new ways that have corrupted our daughters." Another whispered, "She has made them forget who they are." The village's pride turned into blame, and Isime became the symbol of all that was wrong. After the shocking failure of the purity test, whispers in Kuru village grew louder. All eyes were on Isime, the young woman from the city, whose bright clothes and bold ways had stirred curiosity, and now suspicion. Isime was unlike anyone the villagers had seen. She walked with confidence, her laughter like a song that made heads turn. The young girls admired her freedom and how the village men paid attention to her. But no one knew the secret Isime kept hidden. At night, far from the curious eyes of the village, Isime met secretly with several men. These meetings were not simple greetings or village talks. They were exchanges of gifts, money, and promises. The men gave Isime beautiful things in return for companionship. She enjoyed the power and freedom these gifts gave her. One evening, as the moon rose high, Abasi, the chief's daughter, grew suspicious. She had watched Isime's new things pile up and wondered how she got them. Quietly, Abasi followed Isime to a hidden spot by the river. There, she saw Isime meet a man, receive a bag of coins, and share laughter too free for village eyes. Abasi's heart raced. She wanted to have this power too. The next day, with a mixture of fear and excitement, she approached a young merchant who often came to the village market. Remembering what she saw, Abasi tried to mimic Isime, offering her company for gifts. Soon, Abasi told her friends about the secret she had discovered. The news spread like wildfire, and many village girls, longing for gifts and attention, followed Isime's path. They started dressing differently, wearing makeup and colors not seen before, enjoying the attention from men. Isime became a leader in this new way of life. She organized meetings where the girls could meet the men safely, but she also took a part of the gifts, a small price for her help. To the girls, it seemed like a game, a secret club where they could be free and have things they never had. But the elders and parents were unaware. They believed the girls were still pure, still following the traditions. The girls acted like perfect daughters at home, hiding their new lives from those who trusted them most. As months passed, the village began to change. Crops withered, animals grew weak, and sickness spread. The villagers blamed the broken traditions, but could not stop the curse. Fear filled the hearts of everyone. Baba Agbaje, the wise oracle, reminded the villagers that only a sacrifice by pure virgins could lift the curse. But with no virgins left, the village's hope dimmed. Isime, seeing what had happened, felt the weight of guilt. She realized her secret, once a source of power and freedom, had brought suffering to the village she now called home. Her pride turned to sorrow as she saw the harm caused by her choices. She knew she must make things right. The elders met in the village square, the air heavy with worry and anger. They decided that Isime must carry the sacrifice alone, as punishment and atonement for leading the girls astray. Isime stood before the crowd, her heart pounding. Her parents from the city were there, looking downcast and helpless. She accepted the burden with a mixture of fear and regret. Baba Agbaje handed Isime a heavy calabash filled with offerings for the gods. "You must take this to the sacred altar. Deep in the forest," he said solemnly. "This is your path to forgiveness. You walk alone." With a heavy step, Isime began her journey through the forest. The path was difficult, the trees closing in like guards of the past. For 2 days and nights, she walked without rest, her body aching, her spirit heavy with the pain of her mistakes. During the journey, Isime thought of the village girls, the parents, and the sacred traditions she had helped break. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she prayed for forgiveness and for the curse to end. Finally, she reached the altar, an ancient stone carved with symbols of the gods. She placed the calabash carefully, her knees trembling as she bowed her head and begged the Sao, gods, to lift the curse. As she stood to leave, a quiet calm fell over her. She understood that her punishment was not just for her, but for the village to heal. It was a journey of courage, humility, and hope. When Isime returned, the villagers watched anxiously. Slowly, the plants regained their green. The animals grew, stronger, and the sickness faded. The curse was broken. Yet, Isime's life had changed forever. The elders declared she must remain in the village for 12 years, living in solitude near the shrine, carrying offerings and learning the ways of respect and tradition. Over time, Isime grew wiser and humbler. She taught the village children about the importance of honor and purity. The village slowly healed, returning to the values that had once made it strong. Isime's story became a powerful lesson, a reminder that choices have consequences, but forgiveness and growth are always possible.